We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where the cool kids are here this morning because we have Total Media and zip printing extraordinaires Brittani Potter here in the house. Woo! The crowd goes wild. James?
The crowd.
Okay, thank you. I mean, that's the only crowd we got, so we got to go with it.
It's all right.
But Brittani is here. We finally got her on the air. She's one of our favorite people here in the building. And of course, one of the funniest human beings on earth, if you get to know her, because she's pretty quiet otherwise.
Yeah.
So we've asked you to come on numerous times. You've always run out the door and kicking and screaming, but we
have to now.
Hey. You got to promote. Self-promotion.
Yep.
It's all about it. So Brittani has something really, really cool coming up tonight. And that is you are doing a show, kind of a split show with Jackson High School art teacher Sean Gentry.
Correct.
At the Markay. So the opening reception is tonight. We hope everybody comes out, right?
7:00.
That's right. So let's talk about your show, Brittani. We don't have Sean here today, but so I think he does like, if I remember correctly from the Foothills Arts Festival, things like that. He does like more like sculpture-y stuff, or like he builds things and then paints them. What is he? Like more 3D stuff.
Yes. All of his stuff is 3D. I believe he had 18 pieces total. So I mean, he definitely showed up in that respect.
Oh wow.
It's all 3D printing.
Oh, cool.
And then other things that he's had, and that he mixes with that, but then he paints everything, and it's so you'll have 3D on one side of the room, and all my stuff is 2D. So
okay, so you do photography.
Yes,
very, very talented.
Thank you.
I mean, she also does a ton of the graphic design here and all that stuff at Zip Printing. So if you've ever had anything designed here, Brittani's probably had her hand in it, and she's very, very talented. And she is. No, it's true because so. It's a really long story. We won't get into it, but I had an idea the other day of something really, really funny to do at the brewery, and we won't say what it is because it's a little rotten. But I said, "Hey, Brittani, I have an idea. How about would you be interested in this, designing this?" And the next thing I know, like literally 15 minutes later, she sends me a design, and it was spot on. So she's awesome and can do things so quickly, and so we appreciate that. And and I knew that her sick and twisted sense of humor would get where I was coming from.
Yep.
And you just nailed it. So yeah, we girls, we have this thing.
It's there.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk for a minute about your photography and the exhibit that you will have tonight, and then through when at the Markay?
July 1st.
Okay, so through July 1st, but the opening reception's tonight. So that'll be like the most fun time to come and look at it.
It would be the most interesting, but you can also show up any time between 12 and 5, Tuesday through Saturday.
That's right. But they'll get to, if you come tonight, you get to meet the artists. And I think that's like the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can give some private tours.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk. So there is an example of Sean's stuff, then your stuff.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get on to your inspiration and what your kind of theme is this show.
My theme is loosely based in Greek mythology.
Love that.
So just different Greek mythology characters, if you will.
Okay.
And I kind of made them very human-like.
Okay.
So, like, there are gods, there are goddesses, there are some other stories involved, but it's just people I know, and we just kind of, like, I kind of gave some of them the opportunity to let their creativity come out. So we have like Apollo as like a greaser. We've got Dionysus as like a almost like a Peaky Blinders type situation.
Nice.
Like it almost makes no sense, but like I'm hoping it spurs thought.
I like that.
Yeah.
If you needed a Medusa, I could have done that.
I wish I would have thought of that.
I mean, I wouldn't have had to fix the hair at all. Just
throw some snakes in there.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
Uh.
I like it.
Yeah. Have you seen that commercial that's on TV where the
Yes.
girl's like,
Yes, that song gets me every time.
Awesome. But anyway, okay. So how long have you been doing photography?
Oh man, goes way back. It was mainly just like family and like family portraits and things like that of coworkers, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then one day I decided I'd like to do something that wasn't so conventional.
Sure.
So I tried to move into like the more artistic things.
You mean like this picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Little Uncle Rico. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Matt, my best friend, is the president of the Arts Council, and he's the visual arts chair at the Markay. So
yeah, Matt Wilson.
yes, our
friend,
good buddy. Yeah. And he's seen my work, and he knows that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist sometimes, and he wanted to give me the opportunity to showcase that. And I'm like, I don't want a whole show. So then that's where Sean came in, because he wanted kind of like to be part of it too. So it's not a collaborative show by any means. Our stuff is very different, but
right.
There's a variety of things to look at.
But I think that's really cool, because it's like a little bit of everything, something for everybody, and two kind of completely different themes, but it makes it really fun to look at.
Yeah, it's visually striking on both sides of the walls.
So, I like that.
Yes.
We should write that down.
Visually striking.
Visually striking.
Yes.
Like not physically.
Much like James in those headphones.
Yes.
Visually striking.
He is visually striking.
Yes.
And he does a mean crowd too.
Yeah.
Yep. See? He's good at that.
I mean, it's probably a lot of practice.
It is kind of funny, when it's just James and I in here all the time, like, we have to create our own crowd. It's not like, Jimmy Kimmel or anything.
I heard that Jimmy Kimmel does that too, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like during COVID.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
So.
Yeah, no, this is, okay, so we're just playing around, but like, no, this is super cool, and we're so happy for you, because you have worked really, really hard, and I know that, in talking with James about, he enters, some of his photography, different things into some festivals, stuff like that. It's hard to choose, right? Like, how do you know what pictures to put in and what ones not to?
Yeah, that is definitely a process when you take, quite a bit of photos of each person or whatever it is that you're taking photos of, and then narrowing that down, and it's like what best represents the idea that you had in your head.
Yeah.
That I struggle with that a little bit, but we came to make some decisions, and we did a little photoshopping here and there to do some things that are fun.
Yeah.
And it was a great process. I waited till the last minute, like I do with most things.
Yes.
Hey, Brittani, can you tell the story about the photo shoot you had with Matt in the alleyway behind the Markay?
Oh, this must be good.
Oh, yikes. Yeah. So in one of my pictures, you will see the fates, which are the three, I don't know what you would call them. We'll call them crones, for lack of a better word. But it basically three figures. And if a human were to die, they would cut the string that is their life. That was their job. Pretty cut and dry.
They're in the Disney Hercules movie, right?
Yes. They're the one with the eye. The three... I don't know.
They're like
we
witches.
don't have an eye. Yeah. And so to accomplish that, we dressed Matt up. He had on a black shirt, a black skirt, a tablecloth, mesh, and then we made a crown out of artificial flowers, spray painted it. And so we're out on the alley beside the Markay, taking these pictures and just going at it, and...
Because that's normal everyday stuff in downtown Jackson.
I mean, I'm sure somebody looked and was probably very confused. But
Like this
Well,
is
like-
like a full on like Halloween costume.
yeah,
kinda
I mean you can't
scenario.
see it's him. It's just a big black figure.
A big blob of black.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're doing that, and a bird pooped on my face while I like literally right below my eye. It like kind of hurt, and I was like, "What was that?" And then so I run inside, and like later Matt comes in like 5 minutes later, and he's like, "You left me out in this alley looking like this." He's like, "My Crocs are in here." He's like, I could hardly see. He's like, "You left me out there." I'm like, "Matt, like a bird with H5N1. The bird flu is here. It is in the United States, and I am not going to contract it." He's like, "You left me alone." He's like, "You could have got me killed." He's like, "We were in Jackson, and I'm dressed like this." He's like, "Someone could have got scared." And I'm just like, well, I'm like,
It was an emergency.
priorities.
It was
Like
a bird
have a bird
emergency.
poop
Like
on your
he
face.
straight up looked like he was doing like a satanic ritual in the
Yeah, it was.
Like, in
Yeah,
the back
it was.
alley.
Yeah, it was a little intense. Yeah, but if
and
you look
Brittany
at the
just left him there
I had to.
by himself,
I had to. Yeah.
Hey, listen.
blind.
Hey, I'm a great friend. What can I say? I'm a great friend. You're here to help me, but I'm gonna leave you high and dry. I'm sorry, but extenuating circumstances.
With the flower thing on your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And the whole thing.
So I'll show you some of those pictures so you can kind of get an idea. I don't have
Okay.
any with me, but so you can get an idea of what I left him out there as. But yeah, it was embarrassing.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So
Oh, Matt. You know
Yeah.
what? Just deal with it, buddy. This is an emergency situation. Bird poop on the face is
On the
not a good
face?
thing.
No.
Ew.
And then I saw the bird and I was like,
You and I
Mm.
are going to have words.
And then I was like, took 3 more photos. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't like that bird looking at me like that.
I feel like you're a real trooper going back to it at all after that.
I mean, I think so. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
most people would have just melted in the alleyway and
It's for the arts.
you have to suffer for your art. That's what I
see,
would say.
see how dedicated this
Yeah.
girl
Yep.
is?
Yep. You
All
can-
right. Is your stuff for sale?
Yeah, everything's $50 a piece.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very affordable art. You can take it home at the end of the month.
Love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to leave it for the
We would
for
like
the
that.
show.
Yeah, unless you just have to have it. Maybe we can make other arrangements. But
Well, she has other pictures, so
Yeah,
I guess
so,
you could. Yeah.
in these trying times, it's very cost effective to own a piece of art.
buy the girl a gallon of gas. Buy one picture.
I mean, that's what it takes to fill my car. I didn't come to that conclusion for no reason. So
You know, have you considered maybe including a gas card with every purchase of art? Does it look kind of like a deal? Buy a
Heck
pa-
no,
buy-
then,
buy a
then she wouldn't
painting,
make
get
a
$5
dime.
yeah, I was
in
about to say
gas.
at that point, we could just exchange.
You're
just give you
defeating
all
the
of it.
purpose there,
Yeah.
James.
All right. Well, I was just trying to come up with a gimmick.
It's a good one.
No, I love that. And so I can remember like mythology has always been really interesting to me because I think in the 3rd grade we started in on the Odyssey and all that stuff. And it's just kind of like one of those things that is just fascinating to me. So I can't
Same.
wait to see your show.
Well, I appreciate it, and I share that same notion. I took 2 years of Latin
Yes.
with at the time Miss Reader
Miss Reader.
and
Miss Reinhardt now.
Yes.
Yes.
And it just from there on, 7th grade on, and so I hope you come out at some point.
Yeah,
and I'd
for
love
sure.
to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
All right.
guys.
Tell everybody again about the opening ceremony tonight or opening reception tonight. Come out, meet Brittany. She is awesome and see some great work. So what
7 p.m. at the Markay Cultural Arts Center.
are you going to feed people?
There should be food.
Okay.
I'm bringing cream puffs.
Well, that's all I needed to know.
You $50 and some cream puffs. Get you some art and some cream puffs.
I love it. Brittany, you're awesome. Thank you so
Pleasure.
much. And
Thank you so much.
get back to work and go design some stuff.
I'm gonna have to go. Let's go do my thing now.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Appreciate it and best of luck to you. This is going to be awesome. Love that. Come on over. Pete Wilson's here in the house, of course. Welcome, welcome.
Hello there. How we doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mr. Pete Wilson?
Okay. Well, I tell you what, so impressed with Brittani Potter and her
I
art.
just love her.
And it's just great. She's in the spotlight. I always appreciate all the artists. Sometimes, I cover the Markay receptions myself. Goes back a number of years, almost since the gallery opened. And I can't do it because I was one of 4 first graders who did not have my collaring pinned up for Mother's Day in first grade. It was so bad.
Oh,
I was
Pete!
one of 4 who was rejected. They thought it would be better if they didn't pin it up. It was devastating.
That is horrible. Did that really happen?
You know those lines.
He's
you're
told
supposed
that
to-
story on the show before, and you reacted that exact same way the first
know the
time. he
line-
told it.
That's like the worst thing I've ever
But
heard.
I know.
It's true. It was an elephant with a clown hat on.
God, he still remembers.
Well, yeah, I remember it
'Cause
was
it scarred
it was
him.
impactful. It was
His
impactful.
ed has been destroyed because of
Right,
that.
handwriting and coloring within the lines. I'm a little bit better with the paint by numbers, but those aren't very good either.
Yeah, well, that's just because you have to just smear stuff around. You know what? I will say, Pete Wilson, if it makes you feel any better, I always failed cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
I wasn't very good at that either.
No, but I figured out why. But it
Mhm.
took me all the way up into high school to figure out why. You want to know why?
Why was that?
Because I'm left-handed. I write left-handed. I eat
Well,
left-handed.
that explains a whole heck of a lot to me.
Doesn't it?
It does.
So my mom always bought me left-handed scissors
Okay.
because I am left-handed and I could not cut to save my life. And one day I was in like junior high or high school and there weren't any. So I picked up a pair of scissors and I started cutting and I'm like, oh, this is why I cut right-handed.
You missed the opportunity for a great dad joke there, Jen.
I did.
Just couldn't cut it.
Just couldn't cut it.
Okay. All right. Right.
Where's Brittany when you need her?
All right. So so even though you were left-handed, you found out that you cut with the right.
I cut right-handed.
You and my wife are in at least that group.
Really?
Right.
Does Pam, so basically everything else that I do to function in this world is right-handed,
Mm-hmm.
other than I eat left-handed and I brush my teeth left-handed and I write
I take it.
left-handed.
I take it you would throw the ball left-handed.
No.
Oh, really?
Everything
now
sports related, I
that
do
is-
right-handed.
That is odd.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
odd.
My mom has,
Doesn't that explain a lot, Pete?
Okay.
My mom's like that too. She does some things left-handed, some things right-handed.
But if I go to write, like I can write with either hand.
Yeah.
So at some point,
But it's more comfortable
At some
for
point,
left.
as an infant, you were dropped on your head. That
Yes.
explains. Okay, but look how you turned out.
I know, because I was dropped on
horse
my head.
queen, TV star, craft beer maker.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It worked out. It worked out.
It worked out.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, we'll get to the news now.
Yeah, let's get to the news.
All
Get
right,
us out of this, Pete.
Okay, we'll go another route. Okay, of course, a lot of folks last night, had their eye on the weather and on their phones and on TV and so forth because of the severe weather warnings. We did have,
It
for
was
a
rough.
short time, a tornado warning up in Vinton County.
Yes.
It was on. They called that. The Weather Service did shortly after 7:30,
Ooh,
and they
scary.
actually spotted a severe thunderstorm capable of creating a tornado or turning into a tornado at 7:52 p.m.
Oh, man.
right near Lake Hope State Park.
Oh gosh, that's terrifying.
Right, and in Jackson, the tornado watch turned into a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the warning means not necessarily that there is a severe thunderstorm or a tornado, but the conditions are there. It certainly could happen.
Did you see the one in Dayton?
I
Did
saw.
you see
I
that
saw the
Meyer
picture.
warehouse?
I saw the picture. That was something.
That's some scary stuff. Not
Right.
to interrupt,
No,
but
no,
man, that
that-
was terrifying.
That's okay. And there tend to be more tornadoes in the flatlands, of course.
Yes.
I can't remember. I remember straight line winds and like that in Jackson County, and it may as well have been a tornado. It caused enough damage in a
Sure.
very small place. But tornado, I know there was one up around Lake Hope here a year or two. Another one, I'm not sure whether they ever called it a tornado or not, but in and near MacArthur too. You may remember that one. But I did talk to the sheriff's office in Vinton County this morning, and I also talked to Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier this morning. No reports of a tornado touchdown, nothing from the Weather Service on that either, and no reports of major property damage or personal injuries. The Vinton County Sheriff did say there were a lot of trees that were knocked down there around Lake
could
Hope
see
State
that.
Park in the northeastern part of Vinton County. Now, of course, we're live right now. If anybody knows of any damage or like that, you're welcome to message James right now.
Absolutely.
Who's at the computer,
Yeah,
and
send us
we'll maybe
photos.
pass on at least an anecdotal report. Because, a lot of things may have happened that were not reported or known.
Absolutely.
But nothing known reported, certainly nothing major or expansive as far as the damage goes. So we were lucky there. The severe thunderstorm in Jackson County, in some places, supposedly the winds could have reached as much as 55 or 60 miles
could
per
see
hour. Here in Jackson, which was where I was, there was heavy rain and wind, but I don't think anything approaching that. But once again, you could go a mile. It could be much different than what it was,
very much.
in another place.
I love to sit outside during storms, like on our front porch. I'm a front porch storm sitter, I guess you could call it that. And last night I was like, oh, let's go sit on the porch. And I looked out and the wind, because the rain goes over our porch and goes that way. And it wasn't last night. It was coming right at the house. So I was like, never mind.
Right. Well, we were.
I'm not that brave.
Right. Well, we were lucky. It appears that in spite of all the warnings, including a tornado warning, we dodged a bad outcome. Okay, we'll go now to a serious wreck that occurred in Vinton County. You remember we had that motorcyclist that was hurt badly earlier in the week. Well, we had that happen again this time. This was a crash at 93 and 56 in Vinton County. You know where I'm talking about, north of MacArthur.
Yep.
We're about 10 miles north of MacArthur, where if you turn on 56, there's Old Man's Cave there, just about a mile away, and you're about maybe 10 miles away from Hocking County.
Yep.
There is a flashing light there, and even though it's not necessarily heavily traveled, it seems to be the scene of some crashes.
It's a weird intersection, for sure.
This wreck occurred on Tuesday at 3:24 p.m. at the intersection of 93 and 56 in northern Vinton County. It involved a motorcycle driven by Michael Jensen of Yardsville, New Jersey, and a car driven by Brooke Hamilton, age 40, of Hamilton. And Mr. Jensen was operating his motorcycle east on 56. Hamilton was driving her car north on 93. According to the patrol, Mr. Jensen, who was the motorcyclist, failed to yield at the stop sign at the intersection and pulled out in front of Hamilton's car.
Gotcha.
Anytime, of course, you have a car and a motorcycle, the motorcycle is going to come out the worst of it. Jensen was flown to Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center with serious injuries. That is the last report that we have. The car did not suffer, of course, as serious damage, and Miss Hamilton was not injured. The crash remains under investigation. All right, we're going to go to the criminal justice front now. And remember the incident in Jackson that caused such a great stir just several weeks ago, where the man from Michigan was on the loose, and it ended up closing the Jackson City schools for that day. It happened on a Friday.
Yep.
It was on May the 16th, as a matter of fact. Also, it closed the schools, locked down the hospital. Yep. They ended up capturing the gentleman. His name was Kenneth Sims, age 30, from Kalamazoo County, Michigan. They captured him in the woods near Holzer later that morning, because this happened in the middle of the night, and he was taken into custody. Well, we have an updated situation on the court situation. He was charged in municipal court with some initial charges. He has now since been indicted by the Jackson County Grand Jury. And those two charges against him are having a weapons under disability, and the second count is escape. They are third-degree felonies, which are a mid-level felony. Having weapons under disability means that you have a firearm and you're not allowed to have it. Of course, we have our Second Amendment rights in this country, but
for now,
but you're getting into something else. But if you if you're on probation, if you're on parole, you're not allowed.
It's a big no-no.
You've lost at least temporarily your constitutional right there. Where he had a firearm, and he was also under parole. We can now tell you that, remember he was described as a dangerous felon, and, that had everybody on the edge of their seat there a
Yes.
little bit because he was loose somewhere. They thought maybe even around the high school. They said that the reason that he was considered a dangerous felon was that he had been convicted earlier in the year of home invasion with violence in Michigan.
Okay.
And plus, he did have a firearm with him, at least in the car. And they thought he might be armed there when they were looking for him. But as it turned out, he was not.
Okay.
But that situation now in Jackson County Common Pleas Court, no other date set, but the process is now unfolding in Jackson County Common Pleas Court. He faces 2 third-degree felonies. My guess is he has other problems because of being on parole as well.
I'd say so. And he's still in our jail, or where is he?
He is in our jail unless something has happened since this last bit of news
Okay.
that we got at the beginning of the week. But at some point, he will face those 2 third-degree felony charges.
Yeah.
Sometimes when there's other charges other places, or you have a parole or probation violation in another jurisdiction, it might go there first, but eventually, it will come back here.
Sure. Okay.
All right. You may remember, let's see, when did this occur? This was back in August. This was back in February of 2020, but it was such a horrific thing that I'm sure you remember when I tell you about it. Remember the fire in Glenroy
Yes.
that resulted in the death of a child?
Yes, I do.
Right. And this was a case where one child, a toddler, got out. The younger child did not get out and perished in that fire. It was in Glenroy on February 17th, 2020. Well, as a result of that horrific fire where this baby died, the mother, Tawny Keller Brewer, now age 31, of that address in Glenroy, was indicted for 3 different charges: involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, and then also 2 counts of endangering children, because there were 2 children, even though one of them got out.
Mm-hmm.
All very serious charges. It never has come out exactly how she was culpable, unless they felt that, I know that when the firefighters and the law enforcement arrived, she was outside of the house hysterical, with the child inside, and she must have been aware of that. She was held responsible, criminally responsible to some degree, for the death of that child. That's why those charges were filed. This case has been going on for a while there, of course, in Jackson County Common Pleas Court. The latest development was that on June the 3rd, she had a plea hearing, and they cut a deal. She agreed to plead guilty to reckless homicide, which is serious, 3rd-degree felony. However, the other 2 counts were dismissed. That was the involuntary manslaughter and the 2 counts of endangering children. So now she is awaiting sentencing on that 1 3rd-degree felony charge. 3rd-degree felony charge carries a possible penalty of up to 9 to 36 months in prison. That's the range, and a fine of up to $10,000. And also, you would be under post-release control, which means you'd be, parole may not be the right word, but basically you would have conditions set on being free for the 2 years after you get released. So this is what Tawny Brewer faces whenever sentencing takes place. That was one where we tried to get information from. It was investigated by the state fire marshal's office. And because I guess maybe the case is not over yet, they never have released a report on what they found on how that fire may have started or whatever. But for whatever reason, she was held responsible for the death of her child, and that is where that case stands right now. Okay, a new case that is now starting in Jackson County Common Pleas Court is an interesting. We don't have a lot of details, but it is certainly worth telling you what we do know. 4 Jackson County men have been indicted on 20 counts each of pandering obscenity involving a minor. Each of those men are facing 10 2nd-degree felony counts and 10 4th-degree felony counts as a result of this indictment, which was filed about 3 weeks ago in Jackson County Common Pleas Court. Here are the names of the defendants. Jeffrey Garrett, age 48, he happens to be in jail anyway. That is his physical address. Chad Williamson, age 50, his address is on Jackson Hill Road near Jackson. Christopher Seymour, age 29, his address is Michigan Avenue in Wellston. And Jericho Wiseman, His current address is also listed as the Jackson County Correctional Facility. All 4 men were indicted by a Jackson County grand jury, and they had warrants issued for their arrest. The second-degree felony counts of pandering and obscenity. This is what this is in legalese. It involves a minor. It involves a minor, and it alleges that the men did, with the knowledge of the character of the material or performance involved, quote, create, reproduce, or publish obscene material that has a minor as one of its participants. The fourth-degree felony counts allege that the men did buy, procure, possess, or control obscene material that has a minor as one of its participants.
Alrighty then.
So no other details on that, but just goes to show you, and allegations, of course, at this point, just goes to show you that these sort of things do go on in Jackson County, in our little corner of the world, not just in the big city.
Probably a lot more than we would like to imagine, Pete.
Right, exactly. All right, well, Jennifer, you've probably heard of what is called the piggyback license tax. That is an extra surcharge that gets put on when you buy your license, when you buy your driver's license.
Okay.
And it helps pay for road work.
Mm-hmm.
Most jurisdictions do put it on, but not all do. Well, in Jackson County, it's on. If you live in the city of Jackson, you pay that permissive tax. Permissive tax, also better known as the piggyback license tax. Also, Wellston has it as well.
Okay.
Right now, it is not countywide. Jackson and Vinton counties are the only 2 counties in the state, according to Jackson County engineer Melissa Miller, who do not have a countywide permissive piggyback license tax.
Interesting.
Right. And there is a process to be able to put this on. You have to have public hearings where the public gets a chance to weigh in on it. And I'm sure the engineer's office, Jackson County engineer Melissa Miller, maybe others, will make the case for the need for this permissive tax. But those 2 public hearings, which you're certainly invited to go to, I'm not sure what kind of impact or weight this carries in the actual decision of it being enacted. I'm not really sure, because we've not been through this before for a while. I'm not sure whether that's a commissioner's decision, an engineer's decision. Not sure how that works, but it has to go through the public review process. 2 public hearings, both next week at the Jackson County Commissioner's office, which is in the Jackson County Courthouse Annex at 275 Portsmouth Street. 2 p.m. on Tuesday, June the 14th, 2 p.m. on Friday, June the 17th.
Okay.
So this is your chance to weigh in on that. I know that a lot of people, obviously, when you're out there traveling in the public, you don't like it if you're on bumpy roads and so forth. Well,
Sure.
It takes money to fix them and keep them up. We've had Melissa Miller here on TV before. She's done interviews for us on the paper side too. She has been much more proactive and aggressive about stating the need for help. The gas tax, the statewide gas tax that got put on,
Right.
didn't help as much as she thought. COVID-19 hurt. The rural counties, they don't have a lot of people. They're not generating a lot of income, but there's a lot of territory to cover.
Yes.
And so she is saying that there is a need for this piggyback license tax. And so we will be following that story in the Telegram and all our platforms here on Total Media.
Makes sense.
All right, well, let's do some personnel transition now. Ohio Valley Bank, which is based in Gallipolis, but we do have, a branch bank here in Jackson on Main Street. And that, of course, is the bank that merged with the Milton Bank several years ago. And so a lot of Milton Bank customers are now OVB customers. By the way, before we do the personnel transition, this will be an anniversary for Ohio Valley Bank, 150 years in business.
Can you believe that?
Right.
That's
And
a-
so I know
that's
that
a few
I
years.
know that they've got some advertisements and promotion out, but I think they're going to be doing some more things later on to let the public know that and celebrate it with the public.
That's cool.
But they recently announced some high-level promotions and transition within their corporate hierarchy. Thomas E. Wiseman, who is the chairman of the board for Ohio Valley Bank, he announced the promotion of Larry E. Miller II to the position of Chief Executive Officer of both the bank and the holding company. As president and CEO, Miller will be responsible for all business units in the company and its subsidiaries. Mr. Wiseman, who previously served as CEO, will remain as the chairman. Ryan Jones, that's the name we know the best, lives just outside Jackson. He is the son of John Jones, who was synonymous with Milton Bank and then OVB for quite some time. Ryan Jones has been promoted to Chief Operating Officer of both of the Ohio Valley Bank and the Ohio Valley Bank Corp., the holding company. And so this was a big promotion for him. In his new role, he will oversee the company's enterprise risk management efforts while also managing the company's operational units. And if you're looking up there, on the monitor, if you have that up here on Main Street TV, that's Mr. Wiseman on the left, Mr. Miller in the center, and that is Ryan Jones on the right. Ryan, of course, in addition to being, the son of well-known John Jones and Janice Jones, he is also very active in the community with some of the youth programs, has had kids come through school. His son was an outstanding middle guard on the football team this past year, just graduated. And he's also very active with the Apple Festival and is currently the parade chairman. So congratulations to all those three gentlemen, and especially to our own Ryan Jones. All right, a very important person, highly positioned person at the Ohio State Highway Patrol Post here in Jackson at the district headquarters, has recently retired. This is a gentleman, very important, but behind the scenes, a lot of folks may not know him or even know his name, but we're going to mention it right now because he had an important job. He was Ohio State Highway Patrol Captain David R. Alwine. He retired after 33 years, and recently, Jeremiah Shaver was out to cover this. That is Mr. Alwine on the right, being presented an award by none other than Ohio State Highway Patrol Colonel Richard S. Fambro. Fambro is the overall commander of the whole state highway patrol,
the big kahuna
in the state, and he came down for this retirement ceremony and party that was held there at the patrol post. But Mr. Alwine, who is from Hocking County, not here from here in Jackson or Benton counties, but was working here out of the Jackson headquarters, the district headquarters, and also the Jackson Post. They're in the same building out there just outside Jackson on the Chillicothe Pike. He retired just last month after 33 years of service. He had many positions, starting, of course, as the trooper. Most recently, since October 2019, he served as the Jackson District Commander. A lot of folks don't understand, not only do you have the post, which serves Jackson and Benton counties, but you have the district headquarters. They're in the same building. They have different areas in the building. They're kind of split off, but the district covers many of the counties in southeastern Ohio. So congratulations to David R. Alwine. All right, Jennifer, I didn't know whether you knew this or not, but, we had all that mess up in Columbus on redistricting, trying to figure out, trying to get new legislative districts for state senate and state representative because of the census.
Can we do away with the census and quit doing this mess?
Every 10 years, it's a problem, and unfortunately,
it messes everything
it's
up.
political. There is a redistricting commission that is bipartisan, but there's always one party that has more people on it than others because there's 7, all right?
So it's not really
there's never going to be 3.5 and 3.5. Well, the Republicans have control 5-2.
Okay.
But they have to have, their proposed legislative districts approved by the Ohio Supreme Court. Well, the Ohio Supreme Court, which is 4-3 Republican, would not approve 3 different times at least these proposed districts.
Okay.
You heard the word gerrymandering.
Yeah.
That's where one political party in control, whether it be Republicans or Democrats, are accused of drawing the lines too favorable in their party. Sure. And my guess is it's probably happened on both sides. But in this case,
I'm sure.
In this case, the Republicans are in control. Well, because they couldn't get the legislative districts approved, when we did that primary back in May, no state Senate people or state representative people were on there because the districts were,
because we don't know who represents
who.
who.
Right. They had not been approved yet.
Sure.
Well, they still don't have a consensus on that. There's some legal overtones, but a federal court decreed that there needs to be a primary for this. And so using the last lines that the Republicans had, which were not approved by the Ohio Supreme Court, there's going to be a primary based on those two on the last lines drawn, the third set of lines. That statewide primary is going to be August the 2nd, and it's going to be a partisan primary for Republican and Democratic candidates for Jackson for state senate and state representative. Currently, the state senator is Bob Peterson, a Republican, but he can't run again because he is term limited.
Okay.
So we're going to have a new state senator this year.
Oh,
we'll give you the candidates once we figure out who they are. On state representative, right now, Jason Stevens, a Republican from Lawrence County.
Yeah.
I know he's running again. I don't think there's even a Democratic candidate, but that seat it will be on the line in this primary, and it's just like it would have been on May the 3rd, but it's on August the 2nd.
But how in the heck do you have a primary for districts that you don't know what they are? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. No, that's exactly right. It's a little bit of a mess, but once again,
not to mention no one's going to show up to vote.
Right, and they may have to do it again sometime, but for this year at least, the lines as currently drawn by the Republican-controlled redistricting commission will be in effect for those two things. So we will be hearing from the Board of Elections very soon about early voting and absentee voting and all like that. And the only two things will be state representative and state senator. And if you do request, if you vote early, you'll have to declare Republican or Democrat because it is a primary. All right. Okay. No independent candidates involved. The winners of the primary will then be on our general election ballot in November. All right. We're going to move.
So you have from August to November to run.
Right. We're going to move along very quickly because I know Alex Shope is going to come over to talk about something that you know about. And I see that Red Thompson Jr. has
Is it
popped
the Horse
in.
Queen?
No,
they bring it
not
back?
about the Horse Queen. How about the Tomorrow Ready Symposium?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yep.
But I want to go over real quickly a couple of other things that we want to let you know before Red and Alex take over. The MacArthur Police Department wants to put out to the public that it has been aware of a mailing sent to some people with a MacArthur address from an organization called Citizens Behind the Badge. According to the police department, this organization is using the MacArthur Police Department in their literature, but the police department would like the public to know that anyone receiving this mailer is that the MacArthur Police Department is no way affiliated with this organization and is not authorized for its name to be used for such information. They are currently investigating how this got started and how to stop it. But once again, if Citizens Behind the Badge makes some kind of contact, electronic or by mail or whatever, that wasn't really made clear. That communication does not come from the police department and is not endorsed by the police department.
Yep.
All right. Of course, we know about the Markay exhibit tonight.
Yes.
The Village of Colton is going to have cleanup day on Saturday or on Friday. Mayor Kim Milliken has declared cleanup day. You need to have items set out early. They will be picking up items that don't normally get picked up on garbage day. Upholstered furniture and mattresses must be wrapped in plastic. Refrigerant must be removed from refrigerators, freezers, air conditioners, and have the removed sticker on them. No paint will be allowed, and no cat litter, unless it's mixed with cat litter or sand. No motor oils, gasoline, kerosene, or accelerants. No tires will be accepted. So a lot of things that you normally wouldn't send out to the garbage, this is your chance if you're in the Village of Colton. Of course, don't forget, we talked about Summerfest. That will occur up there at the Vinton County Fairgrounds on Saturday from 10 to 10. Coach Carper and the boys were in to talk about that yesterday.
Yes, awesome.
But you're going to have free entertainment and lots of other things, a car show, cornhole tournament, Chinese auction, et cetera, et cetera. Southern Ohio Forest Rally will be taking place starting today. It's starting at Yontangi Park in Chillicothe.
Okay.
This is a race on forest roads in Jackson or in Vinton County, Ross County, and Scioto County are the three counties. It's going to be in MacArthur and Vinton County on Saturday, and they will have an exhibition of some of the cars in MacArthur on Saturday, as well as racing in the Zaleski State Forest area.
Oh, my.
And so that is coming up. Also, last Saturday, they had a very successful, the Oak Hill Chamber did a very successful Amish business showcase and community yard sale. down at Etna Park.
Yes.
And this shows you some of the activity there. It was a great weather, and
Look at
that's
that.
conducive to yard sales.
Yeah.
So yard sale, Amish business showcase, a lot of Amish exhibitors, apparently about 30 or more. That tells you how much
Yikes.
Amish there are and how much they are doing business.
Right.
And this gave the general public a chance to see what was going on there. And then, of course, James's dad, Richard Hamilton, on the left, and Bruce Barkhurst. He's the chamber vice president standing alongside Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton was in charge of grilling those Nathan hot dogs.
He's the
And
best weenie cooker
this
around.
was a big draw, free hot dogs to go along with a chance to buy all this stuff at the yard sale and
Heck
see
yeah.
what the Amish Business Showcase has. The Jackson County Fair Board is having a consignment sale this Saturday at the fairgrounds in Wellston. The auctioneer for the sale will be Ed Henderson. The consignment sale will start at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Also, we want to tell you that the Cause for Paul's annual car show will be this Saturday at the A&A truck stop. I know we had Humane Society representatives in to
Yes,
talk about that, so
for
do not
sure.
forget about this. Proceeds will, of course, help the Humane Society. Remember, they don't get a lot of corporate money or anything like that. They're all volunteer. They need your help. Going to the car show or participating in the car show is a way to help them. You can register in the morning, and the cars will be on display in the afternoon. They'll be judging. If you want good eats, go to the annual Strawberry Festival at Limerick. The Grange will be
What?
putting that on. Oh, yeah, the Strawberry Festival from
Sounds
12
good.
to 3. How about this? They're $8 a plate, and now you know restaurant value.
Uh-huh.
How about this? Chicken and noodles, mashed potatoes, green beans, coleslaw, a roll, strawberry shortcake, and a beverage, $8. What do you think?
That's amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
And you
Sold.
can do split the pot. So that's all the activities taking place. Alex Shope is here to talk about the Tomorrow Ready Symposium, and Red Thompson Jr. is here to talk about anything happening in Vinton County. He'll probably mention the community yard sale or the countywide yard sale they had. I think everybody in Vinton County had a yard sale, and it was coordinated. That was last Saturday, and
That's
Red
cool.
was there, and he didn't buy anything, but he wanted to.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Red or Alex, whoever wants to be next, hop on over here.
Hey, why don't you guys just bring another chair over, and why don't you guys both join us?
There you go. Good morning, boys. So happy to have you here. This is awesome. Yeah, you have to move this way a little bit. We'll put Alex in the middle since he's the rose between the thorns, right, Red?
You guys want to scoot those microphones up right next to you?
Yeah, pull those microphones right up to you if you would. There you go. All right, and welcome. It's so good to have you guys both here this morning. And Alex, so let's talk about that Tomorrow Ready Symposium that occurred.
Me and
Gosh.
Jennifer had a great conversation about this off the air.
No, Tuesday, May 24th.
I can't remember when it was.
It's been a
I
couple
was there.
weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks. No, it was just a really ambitious project put together like
Yep.
workforce organizations, the JCEDP, Jobs and Family Services, Chamber of Commerce, just things like that. And I mean, you remember it was they talked about things like, well, they addressed the workforce shortage that a lot
Sure.
of businesses are seeing.
Yep.
In this day and age.
Yeah.
And everything.
Well, and I thought the very first speaker was very good. And I'm sorry, I am horrible with names. But he was able to not only, identify what the problems are, but also, and this is something that I was wondering, why the problem is in the workforce. And, there's a lot of factors involved in that. But a lot of it comes down to baby boomers. And a lot of people don't realize that is that, baby boomers are a lot of the workforce right now. And a lot of them are retiring or maybe perhaps choosing not to go back to work after, the COVID and all of that stuff. So, that's been part of the problem. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that for some reason.
The first speaker, I think, was John Trott.
Yeah.
And he did touch on a lot of...
he was very good.
Yes, very. He did touch on a lot of problems that we're facing and maybe some possible solutions to it. I talked to Sam Brady of the JCEDP and I talked to him for quite a good bit of time, and I do agree with a lot of the points that he brings up and such. But that these corporations and businesses and things like that need to help and make meet workers halfway, and vice versa. Workers
Sure.
need to help these corporations meet them halfway and such. Like one of the examples that he used was there is a business nearby that's formulating shifts around children's school time, so that would facilitate the need for less babysitting, and
Right.
they could pick up their kids after they get out of school.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good example. So, what happened was there's it's a plant, and right across the street from the plant is an elementary school, and they were noticing that there's these lines of parents dropping the kids off and picking them up between, I'm picking a time, 7 and 2. And they're there at 7 and they're there at 2. And they're started thinking to themselves, wait a minute, if these people are dropping their kids off and picking them up, they're probably going home. So let's make a shift between 7 and 2 so those parents that just dropped their kids off could go over work and then pick their kids back up. And it blew up. It was just win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and I really think that's a really good initiative and such.
Sure.
It saves on commute time and with gas. Yeah,
you're dropping your kids off there anyway. You may as well walk across the street and go to work.
Absolutely.
Get paid, then pick your kid back up.
No, absolutely. I mean, with
Why not?
gas now, like you said,
Yeah,
it just works out for everyone.
absolutely.
But these are these are the solutions that they're trying to formulate, and I really think this symposium will help coordinate these ideas, especially locally. Maybe next time there could be some elected officials there.
Well, I would like that. I also, one of my, and I was fortunate enough to get to be on a panel discussion of business owners or managers or whatever. And there I am. Yeah, they actually got me to put a suit on. That's funny. But anyway, I had to dig that out and dust it off. Squeeze myself into it, but that's a whole other story. But no, I think that getting to work together, and this is one of the things that I was proposing, getting together with the local colleges and local high schools and trade schools and whatever to form this relationship between employers and the students, or the folks that are in charge of the students, to get that whole relationship built and communication started is a huge thing as well, because we have a huge Buckeye Hills, and we have Hawking, and we have even up in Columbus, we have Columbus State, we have all of these, we have the Ross Pickaway Vocational School, we have all of these places where kids are learning all of these trades and are interested in probably going into the workforce, but then it's they don't. Then there's a disconnect between the workforce and them graduating. So
no,
I love to open that dialogue up and have liaisons between the employers and the students.
Oh no, and Ryo's pretty good about
that.
Yeah,
Ryo. I mean, all of that.
Ryo's
Sorry,
really good
I'm
about- no.
trying to leave people out.
Ryo, no. That's I'm gonna say as many as there are around here. I mean, this is a manufacturing area. It's probably kind of hard to remember them all.
Right.
But no, it's. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's different there was recently a manufacturing camp. Going on.
Super cool.
There's all kinds of programs, training resources and such that a lot of these organizations offer.
But shame on us for not all working together.
Right.
And we're all guilty of it.
Yes.
Well, I think there's a program coming to the area. The former middle school principal at Benton County, Jeremy Ward's going to be working in a program exactly like that. He'll be in all
Great.
the high schools. I think it's Gap to Bridges or Bridges to Work or something like that. It's based in Marietta. And I think that'll do a lot of what you're you're discussing.
I hope. It's so obvious, but it's like, why have we not been doing it? What's wrong with us?
It's like I believe it goes back to what you said. There's just some strange disconnect there, which I mean, as the workforce is changing, so are I mean the reasons that people want to get into it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no. And it's just, times are changing.
Yes.
It's a different time, and we've all just gotten through a global pandemic, which nobody has a playbook for, and attitudes have changed. This gas thing is going to be a factor, and there's just a lot going on.
Oh yeah, I'm going to say we're at the 2.5 year mark of the COVID-19.
Yeah, didn't we all think it was going to be over in like 3 months or something?
Oh,
wasn't
Lord.
that like what we were told?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said
Sure.
2.5 years, and I'm just like, you're kidding me.
Yeah. I mean, think back.
Yeah.
I mean-
oh my goodness.
Red, you want to tell us a little bit about what you got to talk about?
Yeah. Libby, I went to Benton County this weekend and to the county-wide yard sale, and I saw some iconic
That sounds dangerous
collectibles.
for me, anyway.
One of the things that I almost bought, Pete mentioned I was going to buy something. This is it right here, the Campbell Soup Collection. It has the iconic Campbell's Kids that they used for advertising back in the day. And this was at a vendor in Hamden, and they just had a lot of nice products like that.
Cool.
They had some 1948 badges. They had a miner's can from the old coal mining days. Miner's
Ooh.
pail where they bought them water. So
Really?
yeah, so I love to go out on, I call it Trash and Treasures Day, but it's really fun to go out and find these collectibles. So, go to these shows. If you like the antiques, if you like collectibles, the yard sale day is a great day to get out and do that. It's sponsored by the Benton County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also wanted to mention business tourism. Benton County, the CVB got a $225,000 grant through the Moonville Rail Trail to finish the trail.
That's awesome.
There's 2 bridges between Saleski and Mineral in Athens County. This will be a boom for Benton County tourism.
Huge, yeah.
And
How long will that make the trail?
I'm not sure how far. I think we were talking to Andy Hudnall, our graphic designer. I think he's about 20 miles.
So it's a ways.
It is.
How cool is that?
And there's
That's really neat.
non-motorized. And of course, the big star is the tunnel.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
the big star. The tunnel's kind of on the Saleski side. It's still in Benton County, but that's a non-motorized trail. And so we remember horses.
Sure.
And I think they if a person's in a wheelchair, they'll allow that. But that's the only thing motorized. And then one more thing, just wanted to throw this in. Benton County lost one of its iconic citizens, Jerry Hawk. He was very active in the community. He was a township trustee. He was a statistician for the basketball team for a long time, and he be one of the first people I met up there. And he has a daughter named Misty. She was a cheerleader when I first went up there. A son named Jared Wayne, and his wife Val, and his another son, Jerry Hawk Jr., passed away before he did. So a great family in Benton County. We're going to have a tribute to him coming up in the Telegram as part of a overall column. And just a great guy in Benton County. He was a veteran. He won the Purple Heart. He's one of those community people that we discuss so often that makes the community great. So condolences to the Hawk family. He was 73, and so just a great another reason why Benton County, one of its great people that we've lost. But other than that, a lot of things going on. The Benton County Wild Grand Center got $500,000.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We spoke to President Ryan Smith. That is certainly not all they need, but that is a good start. That'll help them with some architects, engineering, It's in a beautiful spot. If you know where Campbell's Market is, it's going to be right behind it up on the hill, kind of in the back of what they calling a retail center. The Goodwill's getting ready to open in that center, and then Rio Grande will be the third business to open, and the development being designed by local resident, or county native, I should say. He lives in Athens now, but county resident Emmett Conway Jr. is the developer of a big retail project that's bringing money and jobs to Benton County. So Benton County, continuing on the tourism business, the hotel got $100,000, as Pete mentioned.
Pretty cool.
So it's going to be a nice hotel, Jennifer.
Yeah.
You and your husband will have to stay in the Garth Brooks room.
There you go. I like that. We'll sing Friends in Low Places and, hang out.
And that's it. Good stuff from Benton County, and condolences to the Hawks.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Anything else?
No.
No,
think
looking
so.
good. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for stopping by. We greatly appreciate it. And tomorrow's an exciting day right here on Main Street TV because we have a couple of different things to be talking about the Markay. So we talked about the Markay with Brittani today, but two different things going on tomorrow we'll learn about. So we look forward to that too.
Very looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you, James, for pushing all the buttons.
You're welcome.
And being the crowd.
We don't even need a laugh track.
He had to be, he's had to be the crowd like, he had to be the crowd like 3 times today. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow on your TGIF.